Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Michelle with Fanbase Press. I'm on the floor at San Diego International Comic-Con 2017. Today I am joined by Michael Kogge, who is a screenwriter and author. And I think you're kind of a walking encyclopedia with Star Wars.
Oh, thank you. I know a lot of odd facts about Star Wars. I've gleaned them and gathered them over the years, and they're in my head. So.
Mm-hmm. But you did happen to do a book quite some time ago, which was kind of an encyclopedia in which you gathered all the facts with regards to everything that you need to know about Star Wars. Can you tell me a little bit about that journey for you?
Sure. It's called Star Wars: Absolutely Everything You Need to Know, and I actually have I can show the cover here. This is the new and updated edition. I don't know if you can focus in on that. But yeah, it's called Star Wars: Absolutely Everything You Need to Know, and it basically compiles all these different facts and numbers and bits of trivia, behind the scenes information, statistics, all this stuff, and it puts them together into spreads. So Dagobah, like, what are all the weird, icky, cool facts about Dagobah? What about Yoda? What about Qui-Gon? What about the Jedi Council? Who are all those people? And then what's odd about them? What would a kid or a reader be curious about them to know? How many soldiers were on the Death Star? All these various facts that are put together in this book. And I mean, it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of dirt digging, and trying to figure out what would be a number for Leia, because I think I did the Princess Leia spread. What would I had to come up with 4 numbers. How many? You can't say she had 2 buns on her hair. You need to say how old she was when she joined the rebellion or was on the Tantive before. Information like that. So there was a lot of it was pretty heavy into research. I watched the films quite a bit, and I just stuck to the films and some of the canonical resources for it. And so the great thing about that was that I really got to know the films, but I also, because sometimes when you're a Star Wars writer, you're going to the books instead of the films, you kind of dig up things perhaps people haven't found before, or thought of before, and I think that was a challenge of the book, but that was what made it special.
Was there anything in particular that you found quite surprising or very insightful with regards to, say, like your Princess Leia spread?
Yeah, I got to do. I can tell you a little story about. I got to create a little bit of the head-tail language for the Twi'leks. There's a character named Hera in Rebels, and she's the pilot of the group. Okay, and she's a Twi'lek, and she has green head tails. They're called Leku, and so I said, well, what if we had like a little box, and we kind of figured out what are 4 or 5 expressions she could do with her head tails. So they managed to do it graphically, and I described it. I said, maybe, this is how you express joy, love, anger, I love you, all that, and then they were able to do it. So I mean, it was a really neat thing that we haven't seen before.
Very cool. What was probably the most challenging for you with regards to that kind of writing, because it was with other writers and you were splitting up the spreads? Did you find some challenges with that kind of structured layout? So
it was 3 other writers, and it was a lot. It was maybe there were 200 pages, so there were like 100 spreads, so everybody took a quarter each, 25 spreads, from what I remember. And the challenge was, I'm a story writer, okay, and that's what I do. That's what I do the best. I like drama, I like conflict, I like writing prose and narrative, and so this isn't that. So let's say you have as a writer, you're trying to pump out maybe 1,000 words a day. Well, this is different. You're looking for facts, and sometimes it takes a half an hour to find one fact, and you have to have 14 or 15 facts. And they'll approve those, and they'll cut those down to 8. Then you have to find 8 more. So one fact can take you a long time to find the right fact. and you can go down little rabbit holes. And Wikipedia is just amazing for, oh, this is interesting. No, I gotta stay on target. Stay on target. So.
Yeah. So, since you're talking about the fact that you are also an author, you have done other types of formats with regards to Star Wars. I mean, you've written some junior novels. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I wrote the Star Wars Rebels junior novel series. The Rebellion Begins is the kind of the novelization of the premiere episode of Rebels. Mm-hmm. I also wrote the Force Awakens junior novel. Mm-hmm. I wrote Batman vs. Superman Crossfire, which is a prequel novel to the film. I've done the Fantastic Beasts books for J.K. Rowling, and so I did 4 books for her and Scholastic. And then also I've just announced today I'm writing the Star Wars LAST JEDI junior novelization. Thank you. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So when can we expect that to be out?
I'm not sure yet. Yeah. I wish I knew. And I've written a lot of screenplays, and I wrote the Empire of the Wolf graphic novel, which is a 4-issue comic book series compiled into a graphic novel about basically ancient Roman werewolves. Mm-hmm. So if you like the Roman mythology, if you like the story of Romulus and Remus, it's kind of a retelling of that. It's lots of monsters, creatures, action, adventure in ancient Rome. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a big budget blockbuster comic. Mm-hmm. I would say sword and sandal.
Well, and I think you pull on a lot of the themes that you're familiar with Star Wars, and you have a very interesting hero's journey. Can you talk a little bit more about the story in those regards?
Yeah, for Empire of the Wolf, the great thing about it is it's about 2 friends who are centurions in ancient Rome, and they're fighting in England. It's all based on history. Just about all the facts that I have are historical, and they're both in love with the same woman. One of the centurions is a former slave, and then the other centurion is kind of an aristocrat. And they both get bitten by a werewolf in England, and the werewolf is the Druid king who they actually fought at the time, called Caradog. His last name ends in dog. So it's just like, oh wow, this is almost too good to be true. So he's a werewolf. He bites both of them. Mm-hmm. They both become bad, but one becomes really evil, and the other one is trying to fight to become good, stay good. And they're both after the same woman. So both of them go back to Rome. One becomes the emperor. Mm-hmm. The other one has to fight him and dethrone him and save the woman he loves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of similar themes.
Very similar. So if you like Star Wars, what I think I do really well is I'm able to engage the mythic scope of a story to kind of make stories that use mythologies but kind of spin something new into them and bring a human element.
What do you have coming up besides thank you for announcing on your your junior novel
it's the first
today?
time I talked about it. Yeah.
Well, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm glad to do it. So I have that book coming out, and I'm working on another comic book actually, which is a Sherlock Holmes comic book. I'm really excited about. I've been working on it for the last couple of years, and I had the same artist, Dan Parsons from Empire of the Wolf. Mm-hmm. But what he's done his pages now in watercolors. So he draws them, then he hand paints them with watercolors. Mm-hmm. That's his next step. And the pages are gorgeous. It's a very labor-intensive project, so it's taken. I've been working on it for a couple of years now, and we're right near the end.
That's wonderful.
I can't wait to talk more about it. When I know it's done. Yeah.
Well, you have to come back to us then.
Yeah, I will. Thank you. Yeah.
You're very welcome. One other thing that I think that I saw is coming out. You do the Incredibuilds books. I think you have something coming up soon.
I do. Thank you for reminding me. I have the Incredibuilds A-Wing book, which is attached to episode 8, and so these Incredibuilds books are books they have a wooden model like the old dinosaur kits you used to get at the museum. Of a spaceship or an AT-AT or R2-D2, and so I've done the Millennium Falcon, I've done the X-Wing, I've done R2-D2, and the AT-ACT, which is the Imperial Walker in Rogue One. Yeah, and so I just did the A-Wing book, and that was a very research-intensive project. I had to find out everything I could about the A-Wing, and I did. I think I did. You know, and I really turned over every stone. So if you love the A-Wing from Return of the Jedi, you are going to really like this book, and it ties in with Episode 8, and there's Episode 8 material in there that the fans will get to kind of a preview of what the movie's about.
Excellent. And that comes out is that November time?
You know what? I don't know. Maybe September, maybe October. I think it might be Force Friday, but I'm not. Which is in September, but I don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, not a problem. And for our viewers that don't happen to be here at San Diego with us, where can they find you on social media?
Sure. I'm at Michael Kogge on Twitter. That's the unsigned Michael Kogge. MichaelKogge, and then it's michaelkogge.com, michaelkogge.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time.
You so much,
I really
Michelle.
appreciate it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, that's it for me at the moment. I hope that you've enjoyed this interview. If you'd like to see more content like this, please go over to fanbasepress.com.